things. They have done yoga, they have done, brisk walking, and they have changed their diet into keto diet. But their cringe to binge on fatty foods or street foods still remain. So at the back of your mind, if you're having the cringe and the binge to have food, I don't think you can reduce weight. But that is my proposition. But we really don't know how the proposition is going to look. Now, today's resource person are double. Yesterday we had one, today we are having two. And this is the platform where we introduced Ruchika Patni, who is the CEO and founder director of the yoga library at Singapore. And she's also the instructor and therapist. And she has taken us through yesterday with stress management, with her techniques, which have been unique. And today she's going to take us through weight management and also give us certain tips as to our dietary habits, knowing fully well that we Indians love to eat. We live to eat, not love to eat, we live to eat. And if you are a Bengali by any chance, which though she is a part of that part of the country, but we only binge on food. We think only food, eat, sleep, only food. So, we put on more weight probably because of that. And today joins Anand. And both of these youngsters, Anand Goel, both of these youngsters are people who believe that the world can be made better if we are able to share our knowledge and make people happier. With this note, I hand over the session to both the couple, Anand and Ruchika, to take us through this journey. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Vinita ji. So Anand will join in the later part of the presentation. So thank you so much for having us here to talk about this topic. This topic is very interesting at this particular time when we have had lots of festivals, in the month of October and in November. We've had Durga Puja, we've had Dussehra, we've had Diwali. So a lot of eating, a lot of socialization, even though, we are under Corona and COVID and we're not meeting many people, but we do tend to eat like lots of mithais are coming home. So we are having all of that. So I've had lots of people who come to me and they're telling us, how do we reduce weight? We've put on 3 kgs, we've put on 4 kgs. So what do we do now? So that's why, I'm very thankful to you that we are doing this presentation where we are trying to cover this. Binge eating is one of them, which you mentioned, lots of cravings. So how do we tackle that? Whether, yoga physically is the only solution or we need to do something else. Are we doing something rightly or we need to focus on something else here? So we will be trying to cover everything here in this short period of time. And then towards the end of the presentation, we'll also bring to you some people who will be talking about their stories as well. So from here, I would like to, we'll just start with our presentation. So just give me a moment, we'll just start the presentation. So here is an overview of what we will be covering today. What is obesity? Causes, risks associated, yoga, panchakoshas, which will be conducted by Anand, followed by diet, asanas, kriyas, pranayam, and real life stories of people who have followed this and have seen the results. So let us start with this question. Are you really overweight? What is the right weight for me? It depends upon your weight and the height. And you can use a simple formula of body mass index. You must have heard of BMI. So you can divide your weight by the height and you get the BMI. If it's in the range of 18 to 25, then it is normal. But if it is between 25 and 30, then you're overweight. So maybe you can take some time to calculate this. Moving on, what exactly is obesity? When the fat is getting deposited or stored in the cells, tissues, then it is called obesity. There might be some people who are thin, but could still be obese. But amongst those who look fat, we have seen two types of structures mainly, like the one that you see in the picture, apple-shaped and also pear-shaped. Apple-shaped is where the fat accumulates around the waist region. It is called central obesity. It is very dangerous compared to the pear-shaped. So pear-shaped is where the fat is accumulating in the buttock region, where you tend to see more joints problem and many other issues. But what causes this obesity? In one word, the key cause of obesity today is lifestyle. So lifestyle is the main cause of obesity today. It is a result of a sedentary, fast life where there is no physical activity. Our grandparents used to walk long distances. There were no cars, no buses. It was not very convenient. And they used to do a lot of physical activity. But we just have too many gadgets, which have made our lives definitely very simple. But it has its own limitations. Started to sit in front of computers for 8 to 10 hours in the office, now working from home. But after you come back from home, also you sit in front of TV for long hours. With the economic improvement, we are now seeing that a lot of processed food is being consumed. Junk food is being consumed. So you tend to overeat a lot. So we have wrong sleep timing, no exercise. All these are the causes of obesity, our lifestyle. Also, when you are eating high calorie food and you don't expend via exercise, then you tend to gain weight. So there is a clear intake output imbalance. So when you think of our body as an elastic bag, the size of the bag depends upon what you put inside and what you take outside. So if you put inside food and what you take outside is the exercise. So if there is an imbalance between the two, then you will tend to gain weight. Now this can also happen due to several other factors. There could be personality tendency, family tendency, or some psychological factors. Now what do I mean by personality tendency? For example, if you're a kapha dominant person, then you may tend to put on more weight very easily. Now this is, if people are familiar with Ayurveda, and especially, a lot of you are from India, so you would be familiar with Ayurveda. There are 3 types of doshas, the Vata, Pitta, and the Kapha. So if you are kapha dominant, you will tend to put on weight easily. There could be family tendency. It could be hereditary, or some psychological factors as well, which I will be covering in the next few slides. But have you ever wondered, does animals suffer from obesity? They don't. Except for, pet animals that you would actually see these days, they suffer from obesity. But animals in general don't suffer from any obesity because they're very well programmed. You might have heard a story where the deer is running around a lion when the lion is sleeping. And this is because the deer knows that the lion will not do anything to him. So the lion only catches its prey when it is hungry. So the animals are very well programmed. They eat only when they're hungry. They sleep when it is required. But with humans, we eat at any time. We eat all the time these days. In India, it is very common if it is raining, then we'll have chai pakoras, no matter if we are hungry or we are not hungry. So it's all controlled by our mind or our will. We also tend to sleep at any point, any time, 8 hours. We can sleep 18 hours as well. So we all are becoming slaves of our monkey mind. So psychological factors lead to eating disorders. Where is this being controlled? It's being controlled by the hypothalamus. Now, this is the structure which controls our hunger and satiety. This is the seat of the emotions also. So if this remains balanced, it helps to maintain our health. But if there are emotional imbalances, if there are disturbances, then you lose control over this programmed functioning and you end up overeating, leading into obesity or undereating. So with obesity, there are lots of risk factors as well. You will be prone to several diseases like heart because that is overworked. Also diabetes, early aging, joints problem, obstructive sleep apnea. You can also have constipation, high blood pressure. So now let us correlate this with yoga. But before that, let us understand what is yoga. Yoga is defined as mana prashamana upayah, which means yoga is the skillful technique to calm down the mind. Patanjali, a great rishi, has defined yoga in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra as yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Chit means mind. So this means yoga is a conscious process of gaining mastery over the mind. Now, a lot of people believe that to lose weight, you need to sweat out, to burn just the calories, or you can do that by just starving. But is this really true? Does this really work? We are only talking about the physical body here. Whereas if you look at the yogic body, it is not just physical. So let me hand this over to Anand, who will explain more about this from the perspective of yoga.
We cannot hear.
Ah, yes. Good I asked the question. Even though nobody could hear, you could see my mouth moving. So that's nice. Okay, cool. Thanks, Ruchika, and thanks, Vinita ji, for giving me this opportunity to talk about the Panch Kosha in general, specific to weight loss. So obviously, when Ruchika talked about weight gain and stuff, you heard a lot of stuff about mind. You heard a lot of stuff about what goes into your body and what goes outside your body. So if we were to correlate this entire concept in terms of yoga, you would see that in yoga, we define the body as 5 layers. And these 5 layers are mentioned in front of you. These 5 layers are what we call as Pancha Kosha. So as you can believe, Pancha means 5, Kosha means layers. Now, what are these 5 layers and why are they important is what I'm going to talk to you about, and how these correlate to your weight loss. Because what happens when people go on this quest to lose weight, as they only focus on one kosha, which is the first one. And I'll explain that to you in more details. Again, it is I'm trying to give you a very surface area explanation of what Panchakosha is, so that you can take something away and then focus on losing weight. So in yoga, as you see, 5 koshas. The first one is Annamaya Kosha, second is Pranamaya Kosha, third is Manomaya, fourth is Vijnanamaya, and then the fifth is Anandamaya. So we'll go one by one. So let's start with the first one. The first one is what we call is the Annamaya Kosha. Now, Anna, as the word actually means food body. Now, food body means what? It means your physical body. Now, we have all seen photographs of evolution of mankind, right? And this is one of the modern photographs of evolution of mankind as to how we started as a chimpanzee and how we are growing into this overly obese person with a 1 liter Coke in hand. Now, this is what we do not want as an evolution of human body. But when it comes to Annamaya Kosha, we're talking about physical body. It is about the knowledge about your physical body and what you do to the physical body. Now, this kosha we know a lot about. Ruchika spoke about BMI, Ruchika spoke about weight. If today I were to ask you, you probably know your weight, you know your BMI, you know your height, you have these Apple watches or all these watches which you have in your hand, which tell you your blood pressure, which tell you the blood oxygen, which tells you your ECG on a real-time basis. So man knows a lot about Annamaya Kosha, and we do everything for this, right? As Vinita ji said, size 0. We make sure that we do everything to look lean, to look thin. We work out, we go running, we can go on to extended fast, we can eat as much as we want. So this is what we know about Annamaya Kosha. But you see, a lot of people come and tell me, I don't eat at all, right? I still put on weight. I hardly eat. I eat only salads. Why am I putting on weight? Because the answer to that is you can't be just focusing on the Annamaya Kosha. Yes, Annamaya Kosha is important. You need to take sattvic food. You need to reduce high calorie foods, oil, sweets. You need to take more amount of fibers and water content in your body. You need to do some dynamic yoga. You need to do some asanas, which Ruchika will be talking about. And you also need to do some kriyas. But is this enough? The answer is no. And we have to go deeper down into our koshas to understand what we need to do. So, which is what brings me to the next kosha, which means pranamaya kosha. Now, what does prana mean? Prana is actually the vital force. Now, the question is, why is it important? The answer is very, very simple. As long as you have prana in your body, you're alive. The moment prana leaves your body, you die. Ask you a second question. Prana or breath is something we do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week till we are alive. But if I were to ask you, and probably some of you have attended my previous sessions, how many times do you breathe in a day? I'm very sure many people don't know that. The truth is, we are breathing 20,000 times a day. And we do not even take 30 seconds to sit down and focus on our breath. Whereas we eat 3 to 4 or 5 or 6 times a day, and all our focus goes on eating. If you look at what nature has given us, you have a dog on the left hand side and you have a tortoise on the right hand side. A dog breathes very, very fast, to the extent that it breathes so fast that it only lives, it has a lifespan of 7 to 10 years. Whereas if you look at tortoise, which takes 2 to 3 breaths in a minute, it actually lives more than 150 years. So what they say in yoga is that the slower you breathe, the longer you live. So they say you are not born with a fixed numbers of years. You are born with a fixed numbers of breath. So you have to breathe slowly. So the question now comes is, how does this prana correlate to weight loss? So you are looking at your physical level, but what you need below that is the prana. Because if you do not have the right balance of the prana, your digestion, your elimination, your circulation, your metabolism, your crystallization will all be haywire. And which is what I'm trying to explain through the 5 prana vayu chart which you have in front. So if you look at prana, they divide in yoga into 5 parts. So you have prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. So if you look at the left one, prana is what is going upwards. It's all around. It's located in your chest and the heart. That is what you call the prana. Apana is what goes down, which is the elimination, downward movement. Then you have udana, which is going up, metabolizing in your throat region. You have vyana, which is going all through your body. And the most important which you have is the samana. When I say most important, in terms of weight loss, because this is around your navel area. And this is what controls your assimilation. This is what controls your digestion. So unless and until you have a balance in your samana vayu, you will not be able to digest the food you eat. Hence, it becomes very, very important to take care of a pranamaya kosha. And this in yoga, we do through, if you specifically talk, which again, we will go through the demo, is doing pranayam practices. And especially for obese people, we are looking at Surya Anilom Vilom, which Ruchika will be showing you, which you're supposed to do 27 times, 4 times a day. Again, what does it do? It increases metabolism, it activates the sympathetic nervous system and helps you to lose weight. So we have talked about physical body, we have talked about breath body. Next one comes Manomaya Kosha, which we talk about mind. And Ruchika spoke to you about hypothalamus and how the mind works. Now this, according to me, in the current state is the most important kosha because we're talking about mind. Now, why is that? The reason is these days we don't have a mind because what humans have is what we call monkey mind. Now, why we call it as a monkey mind? Because we keep jumping from one point to the other, to the other point, to the other point. There was a research which said that if you look at food, just relating to food, a human being makes more than 300 decisions relating to food in a single day. Now, you might wonder, how is it possible? But ask yourself, it is possible. Or what should I have for breakfast? Should I have one toast? Should I have two toasts? That becomes one decision. Or should I go and have tea? That's the third. Should I have sugar in the tea or should I have milk in the tea? What should I make for my husband? What should I make for my parents? So only relating to food, you are taking 300 decisions in a day, which is why it becomes very important to control the mind. You must have heard all these fancy terms these days, mindful eating. Why is it happening? Because these days we don't have mindful eating. All we have is mindless eating. People do not know what they are eating. People are eating on the go. People eat one, they follow it with another, they follow it with another. They have no control over the quantity they are eating, which is what leads to cravings. People are working extremely hard. It gives rise to stress. So whatever we are doing on a daily basis, whether it is gadgets, whether it is work, whether it is stress, it is all increasing the speed of the mind. And what we are trying to achieve through yoga in the Manomaya Kosha is to bring down that speed of the mind. And what we had yesterday is an excellent example of how you can slow down the mind. The classic way to slow down your mind is doing cyclic meditation, where you stimulate and you relax. You stimulate and you relax. More important, relaxation being more than the stimulation. If you want to do an experiment sometime later, when you have a real craving for eating a sweet, sit with two sweets in front of you. Sit in front, close your eyes, have one sweet. Maybe it is a rasagulla or sandesh. Just put it in your mouth, close your eyes, enjoy the taste, and go into complete silence for the next 2 minutes. The amount of joy and happiness you will get out of it will be so much that you will not be wanting to have the second piece. Maybe you could have the second piece, but definitely not the third. Because what we are saying in yoga is, if it is the sweet which is causing you the happiness or giving you the happiness, then the more you eat, the more happiness you should get. But you also know, you have one rasagulla, then two, then three, then four. You will reach a saturation point, maybe at 6 or 7, depending upon how much you like sweets, where you don't want to see rasagulla for the next 2 hours. Why is that? Because the object is not what is giving you the happiness. It is once you put it in your mouth, once you taste it, and once you go into complete silence, which is what is giving you that happiness. Which is why the next time when you're eating food, make sure you don't have any phones, you don't have any TV, make sure you're not talking to too many people around the table. Just sit down, look at the food, concentrate on the food, take it in and enjoy every morsel you are having. You will get bigger satisfaction and you will see that you start eating less. So we spoke about the physical body, we spoke about the prana, we spoke about the manomaya kosha. But the most important thing after that is, what is that body which tells you what to do is right and what to do is wrong? Which is where we need this thing called Vijnanamaya Kosha. Vijnan means intellect, wisdom. So there are yogic practices to train this wisdom in the body, and which is what we need to work for. See, if somebody is overweight, and I assume maybe some of you are, or even if you are not, everybody wants to lose some weight at some point. When you get up in the morning, your alarm goes at 5:30 a.m. You know you should get up, maybe do yoga, maybe go for a run, maybe do exercise. But you have this constant fight between your Vijnan and your mind. Your Vijnan tells you, oh, no, you should go for a run. But your mind tells you, no, it is okay, sleep some more, sleep some more, sleep more. You keep going and snoozing your alarm. So what you need to do through this yoga practice is to strengthen your Vijnan and knowledge so much that it takes over and it can tell your mind to do the right things. So which is why Vijnanamaya, we are talking about wisdom to decide what is right, what is wrong. We are talking about being young at all times, and we are talking about reducing rush and speed and not going for material joy. So again, Annamaya, physical body, pranic body, mind body, knowledge body. If all these bodies are in sync, what do you achieve? Right? So Vijnanamaya, as you have the slide, you have yogic counseling techniques to make sure that you can strengthen your Vijnanamaya. So when all these four koshas are in balance, what do you get? You get happiness. Like my name is, Anandamaya Kosha. Anand means bliss. So once all these koshas are in balance, you go into this last one, which is the Anandamaya Kosha. It is the highest state of consciousness which you can achieve. It is working without worrying. It is living in the present. It is making you realize that the soul is all that matters. It is making you realize that all sufferings, all losses, all gains in this physical body are ephemeral, right? And it is everlasting. Now you might ask me, is this easy to attain? The answer is, it is not easy to attain. But is it impossible to attain? The answer is, it is not impossible. You can attain it. So you must have heard of all these sage and yogis who are sitting in the Himalayas. They're going into deep meditation. They're completely into their Anandamaya Kosha. They do not need any food. They do not need any water. Now, when we are in our normal physical household life, obviously we can't be in that state because we need to go, we need to earn, we need to work. But I have heard a lot of people who, when while meditating, go so deep into that meditation that they come and tell me, oh, I saw a green light, I saw a white light. So those are moments when you go into your Anandamaya Kosha and then you come back. And again, then you go deep into your meditation, you go into your Anandamaya Kosha and you come back. So the more you practice, the more disciplined you are, the deeper you go into your Anandamaya Kosha. So again, this is a very, very broad explanation about what the Panch Koshas are. And I think the key takeaway is when you talk about losing weight, you just can't be working on your physical body, which is the Annamaya Kosha. Everybody goes into fasting, not eating, keto diet, fat diet, non-fat diet, Kenzi diet, and all that stuff. And they forget everything after that. Their breath is haphazard, their mind is completely stressed, their knowledge is not there, which is why they cannot achieve any ananda or bliss. So to lose weight, you have to work on a holistic approach to your body, because ill health, as you see in the front, is a lack of mastery of these koshas. And gain in weight is just one of those, right? It could be diabetes. It's all these lifestyle diseases which we are talking about: stress, diabetes, anxiety, asthma, weight loss. All of these can be correlated to the imbalance of these koshas. So I hope you have a better understanding of these pancha koshas. I will hand it over back to Ruchika to talk to you about the diet and then show you the practices on the Annamaya and Pranamaya kosha. I mean, we did something on the mind yesterday. If you need a video about the cyclic meditation, we can send it to you later. But she will be focusing more on the Annamaya and Pranamaya kosha to tell you how you can achieve that. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Anand. So I think a lot of you who have joined here are interested also in the physical body, like Anand explained very broadly. So we need to first work on our physical body as well to keep it healthy. So in the Anandamaya Kosha, we spoke about the diet is one of the aspects. So I'll cover that. Some basic things which you can take away from this presentation, focusing a lot on the greens, including more of that in your diet. Try and keep that to 80% of having vegetables in your plate when you're having the food. 80-20 diet is a very good way to actually work on a good diet. That is keeping 80% of alkaline food, 20% of acidic food. It helps to eliminate lots of diseases. And then basic things like don't watch TV while you're eating food. Have this control over your mind. Switch off everything. Enjoy the food that you're having. It's well assimilated in your body. And a lot of people who say that, we are just putting on weight, we don't eat anything. There are many people, I've heard this several times. Keep a food diary. It'll give you a right sense of, are you really eating, or are you, where you are exactly? So it'll just help you that you may be eating many number of times, you may be eating wrongly. And once you have a diary in place, you will be able to rectify that. So, and for some other things which you can take care of at making healthy snacks at home, not buying food from outside, biscuits, like, they use a lot of palm oil. So avoid using all of that. A lot of people say, I had just had chai and one biscuit. I still put on weight. I've heard this several times. I have chai and one toast. All that food that you're buying, packaged food, try and avoid buying all of that. Try whatever you can do it at home. Try and keep that. That itself will bring down your weight. And I mean this, you can try it for like a month. It makes a massive difference. Even when you're making biscuits, try and see that you can use your home ingredients. Don't use the oils which are coming from outside. Don't rely on that. Oil. So that is one another thing, people think that, we just put like 1 spoon of oil in every vegetable. So if you're wanting to lose weight, you need to be mindful of that as well. 1 drop of oil is 9 calories. We tend to miss that. Most of the time we are focusing on, let's not have carbs. Let's just go on carb-free diet. But does that really help? Is that really important? You need to have a balanced diet. You need to have a sattvic diet. Have everything. And the other thing is, don't starve your body. Do not go into fasting on a daily basis. Your fasting is extremely good, but do not go, you're going to start missing meals. And then you start craving and you start munching on chocolates and wrong foods. So don't try to do that. Eat well. Have enough so that you don't crave for food. Try and eliminate maida, processed food. And if you are eating wrongly, try and see that you can do some, you are able to compensate that with some exercise, burn out those calories. So be conscious about this. It's not just intaking, just every day going out, eating and eating and eating, and that just piles up, leads into diseases, obesity, diabetes. A lot of people I've recently worked with, just with the diet and yoga, I've been able to get rid of problems like diabetes. It could be food related. You're eating multiple number of times, but what are you eating? Just leaving out sugar, does that help? So you need to be mindful of what you're doing. So moving on from diet, if you have any questions, we can talk about it, later. I'll cover it in more detail if you have any questions. So moving on to the next slide, yoga. So it helps to burn out the energy. So it removes the fat that is stored in the cells, like what we said is the main problem in obesity. So moving on to the next slide, I'll discuss about the asanas that you can incorporate in your regular life, because a lot of you again have joined so that you can take away something from here. Some of the practices that you can do, you have to do it daily. People who have abdominal fat, the practices that you can be doing. The first one is alternative leg raising practice. So we will be demoing this, so you can have a look at the video. So we don't have a full practice session today, but you can look at the videos, you can take this away and do this regularly yourself.
Inhale, lifting your right leg up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, bring it down. Bring your awareness to your knees, to your legs. Right leg up as you inhale.
So like what you can see here, what is actually happening? Why am I saying for weight loss, this is a good practice?
Inhale, left leg up.
It is working on your abdominal muscles.
Exhale, down.
It is helping tone your abdominal muscles.
Last round, inhale, lifting up. Exhale, down. Left leg up. Exhale, down.
So again, this is a fantastic practice because a lot of belly fat that we have, these are loose tissues here. So the fat tends to accumulate in the areas that are loose. So you need to tone them up. So what you need to do is you can do this practice. It's a very good practice for people if they have any back issues as well. It helps to actually work with your back. It's in general a good practice, but an excellent practice if you have abdominal fat. You can do this 10 times, 10 rounds. You can do this for 15 rounds, multiple times in a day as well. Eventually your abdominal muscles will be toned. So I think there is a question. Okay, the screen in which the points are illustrated is not visible. I'm not sure if this is a thing that has come up now,
No,
but
it
I'll
came
just
up
move on
earlier.
to the next one. Sorry?
It came up earlier,
Oh, it came
but
up earlier. Okay,
we
sure.
were able to see it.
Okay, sure. Okay, so we'll move on to the next practice. We'll briefly cover it, so you can take notes if you want to. You can write back later on as well if you have any questions. The next practice is Chakki Chalan. So you can see the video and I'll
We'll be
explain it.
practicing Chakki Chalana. So for this, keep your legs apart, making them as wide as you can, and interlock your hands. Bring it to your right side, lean forward, then to your left, then leaning back without bending your elbows, and then again to your right, left, back, right.
So before, when we
left,
used to do Chakki
back.
Chalna, actually we used to do our exercises.
Exactly. So that's what I was about to say, Vinita ji, that in the past our grandparents, our
Left,
relatives, they used to do
Yes.
this
coming back.
automatically. So they didn't have to go for like a yoga class or, an exercise program. This was a natural part of their lifestyle. But
So
today
we
we
had
have
that
to incorporate all of it.
where we used to even grind dosas and idlis. So
Yes,
even
exactly.
there, they had that exercise.
Yes, yes. So it was very good. But these days we don't do any of these. So we
No,
have to
we are
bring it up.
using Mixi. We have make
Yeah.
life simpler.
Exactly. We're barely walking. There's no physical activity. And that's why we are seeing obesity, weight gain is becoming more and more common these days. Hence, you
Yeah.
need to incorporate this in your regular life. So we'll move on to the next practice, which is Paschimottanasana stretch.
So we'll be doing sit-ups from lying down position. Inhale here. As you exhale, lifting up, coming and touching your toes. Inhale, going down. Exhale and forward. If you have any back issues, you can avoid this practice. Inhale, exhale and touch. We'll continue with the practice.
But do we need to do it this fast?
Yes, it's a dynamic practice. It has to be done fast. So this is a loosening practice. We'll come into asanas, which will be done slowly later on. But these are dynamic practices. So it has to be done fast. And with Paschimottanasana stretch, you can do it 10 times. You can do it to 20 times as well. Again, fast, has to be done.
But some people who may have back problems, they could do it slightly slowly.
They can do it slowly. For them, I would say you should condition your body first. So the straight leg raising practice is a good practice to begin with. It helps to bring the strength back into your back. And once you have that, I would recommend you can slowly start this practice.
Right.
Otherwise, you can have back issues with this practice. Even with the next one, that's an intense practice. It's a gradual process. I'm not saying that the practices can be done right away for a lot of people, but you can get there.
If you have any, we'll be practicing Paschimottanasana, Halasana stretch. If you have any back condition, please avoid this practice. Sitting up straight, from here slowly touching your toes, and then moving your hands down, lying down and coming into Halasana. Again coming, sitting down flat, stretching your hands forward, going down into Halasana. Again coming into Paschimottanasana and then to Halasana. Coming back.
So this practice is a little bit more advanced, but it's something that is it's very convenient for people to do it. It takes a toll on the back if, again, you've never done exercises. So again, recommend you to do other practices first and then move on to this.
What about senior people? Can senior people do this?
Of course, senior people can also do this. Absolutely not a problem. But if you have not done any exercise at all in the past or no yoga practice in the past, then certainly you cannot just immediately jump onto this practice. First, try and work on other practices to condition your back, and then you can get into this practice. And very soon, you probably need like 10 days, 5 days, depends upon you. And then you can easily do these practices. So moving on to the next one, so for the thigh region. So for a lot of people, the weight accumulates on the thigh region. They have fat thighs. So what can you do for that? So you can do jogging, jumping. So, but if you have knee conditions, you cannot do jogging and jumping. You can do drill walking, or you can do cycling. So I'm not demonstrating jogging, but I'm demonstrating drill walking. It's something that everybody can do here. So you can look at the video.
Drill walking. So lifting your knee.
This can be done 25 to 30 times.
Bringing it down and then left up, down.
And again with speed. You can increase the speed with this.
As per your capacity. Lifting up down. This can be done 20 to 25 times.
Any angle or anything to be maintained while putting your leg up?
No, this is just straight leg up. So just try and raise up wherever you can. In the beginning, it might be low because your quadricep muscles might not have that much of strength. But as you improve, you can bring it higher as well. So, and this movement has to be like, again, it's a dynamic practice. So it has to be done fast. So 25 rounds would be one right, one left is one round. And then I'll demonstrate cycling as well. So you can look at the video.
Practicing cycling, bending both your knees, bringing it to the chest. And from here, we will be cycling in the clockwise direction. Fully opening your legs, making circles. It's a very good practice for your knees, for your abdominal muscles, strengthening of your leg muscles. So this is yogic cycling. And from here, after 20 rounds, you can do it in the anti-clockwise direction. So sometimes you may struggle in anti-clockwise, but over a period of time, you'll be able to do it properly.
So I'll move on to the next one. So this is simple practice. You can just lie down, you can do it. Just don't do it after meals. Moving on to the next practice. So for the buttock region particularly. So I'm giving you just a couple of practices for every region. But yoga is a holistic. You need to look at it as a whole. So you need to incorporate all the practices for your entire body, not just focusing on one area. So you can do these definitely, but you have to do other practices as well. So for the buttock region, you can do Salabhasana.
We'll be practicing Salabhasana, bringing both your legs together. Make a fist with your hands, bring it to your groin region, chin on the mat. Now inhale, lift both your legs up. Wherever you can, again, you don't have to go as high. You can go even half an inch from the ground. So you can see that your buttock is engaged, so working on your buttock muscles. And as you exhale, you can start coming down. You can hold this practice for about 30 seconds to 1 minute.
So it's a very good practice.
Then you can do with one leg at a time as well. So same position, inhale, lifting your right leg up as you breathe.
So you should start with this first.
Exhale, you can start.
For those who have never done practices before, do it slowly.
Inhale with your left leg up. Slowly.
And this is a very good practice for somebody who has sciatica.
Inhale, coming down.
So the nerve, when it gets compressed in the lower back,
whatever is your ability to
you have tingling sensation in the feet. This is a very, very good practice to do. Moving on to the next practice, which is Dhanurasana or the bow pose.
Bring both your legs together. Chin on the mat, bending both your knees. Grab hold of your ankle. Now, if you're doing this practice for the first time, you can keep some distance between your knees, so you can keep them apart. So we'll show you with the legs apart. Chin remains on the mat. Inhale, and you lift your legs up and the upper part of the body up. Now, if this is too much, you can remain lower as well. There is not a problem at all. We'll continue to breathe here, and as you exhale, you will slowly come down.
So holding this practice, if you're doing it, initially you might be able to hold a little bit less, but eventually holding it for 30 seconds to about 1 minute. Then moving on to the next practice for the waist region, we can do side bending practice. We can show this very quickly so that we can get.
For this, bring both your legs apart. You can keep about 3 to 4 feet apart. Stretch your hands at shoulder level and bend towards your right side and then to your left side.
This is also a dynamic practice.
So bending to your right, then to your left. If you can increase your speed, increase the speed.
This will help you to tone up your waist region.
Continue this for 10 rounds.
So for obesity people, we can do it up to 20 rounds.
You do loosening practice. We'll be doing the practice of Ardha Kati Chakrasana. So bringing both your legs together, hands by the side. Inhale, take your right hand up slowly. Stretching your right hand up with the same inhalation, and as you exhale, leaning towards your left side. Allow your left hand to slide down to the left side, feeling a nice stretch on the right side, a compression on the left. Continue to maintain this for 30 seconds.
So again, you can see this practice when you're doing this. I want you to take this back with you. It's a very, very good practice. Multiple benefits, very good for your back, especially works on your nervous system.
Yesterday
So-
also we did a part of it.
So we did a part of it. So it's a very effective practice working on your mind as well. So it is working on your nervous system, which you know it's very important. So this practice can be done. And at the same time, like you would see, your waist is getting fully stretched. So this helps to tone up your waist region. So you can do this for 30 seconds to 1 minute each side. So I'll be showing after this Surya Namaskar. This practice, a lot of you would know already,
Your legs
but it's a very good practice which is working on almost all the muscles of your body.
hands to your heart.
You can look at the full practice once.
Inhale, stretch your hands up and bend back. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, right leg back, look in front. Exhale, left leg back. Inhale, drop your knees. Exhale, chest and chin down. Inhale, slide up, bend back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg between your palms. Exhale, left leg forward. Inhale, come up. Then back. Exhale, hands to your heart.
So this practice again, for a lot of you, if you have any issues in doing the practice, you can start with chair Surya Namaskar. I have not put up the video for chair Surya Namaskar. It's available on our YouTube channel. You can actually look it up there as well. But you can start from there, get conditioned, and then you can move on to this practice. Can be done 12 times, can be done 24 times. Eventually, just build it up slowly. Next one, Anand spoke about the Pranamaya Kosha, where he mentioned about the right nostril breathing. Now, if you're a lazy person, this is the best takeaway for you all, but only if you do not have any heart condition. You don't have any high blood pressure or diabetes, then you can follow this practice because it activates the sympathetic nervous system. So it burns out your calories very fast. So this is right nostril breathing, and you can look at the video. And maybe you can practice this once together as well. So you can see the video.
Namaste everyone. We will be doing Surya Anilom Vilom, right nostril breathing. So for this, come into any comfortable seated position. Bring your fingers into Nasika Mudra. Fold the two fingers next to your thumb. Use your two fingers. Close your left nostril.
So it got stopped there. No, don't close and stop there. So you just close your left nostril. You breathe in through your right, and you breathe out through your right as well. You're not changing hands. So you're breathing in through your right, and you're breathing out through your right as well. So that is Surya Anilom Vilom. You can stop the practice.
Inhaling deeply through your right.
So I hope this practice is clear. You can do this practice 27 times in one sitting. So one inhalation, one exhalation is 1 round. You can do this for 27 rounds, 4 times in a day. You can do it before breakfast, before lunch, before your dinner, and you can do it before sleeping. Sorry. So this is a good practice. You can do it regularly. Those who have any heart conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes, don't be unhappy. You can do alternative nostril breathing. So that Anilom Vilom is a good practice for you to do. So this will take care of your Pranamaya Kosha. And we spoke about Manomaya Kosha, which is the cyclic meditation, which we did yesterday. So from here, now we've already taken quite a lot of time. Those who have actually followed this, what we are explaining, a lot of people have already experienced this. And they've seen benefits. Like you can see the picture in front of you. So we'll invite them to come and speak so that they can explain about their journey and what benefits they have got by practicing. So I have Mr. Mohan Krishna Goyal on the panel. Can hand it over to him. Maybe you can have your video on as well.
You have to allow me as a panelist, then only my video.
You are already on the panel, but we can't see your video. Just give me a moment. So you can see that, there's a significant weight loss that he has had. So let's hear it from him.
So, good evening, everybody, and
Evening.
thank you very much. As mentioned in the slide, I'm 72 years old. I have been leading a very, very active life in terms of sports, notwithstanding my age. For last, say, 7 to 8 years, I have been playing badminton in the morning, about 1.5 hour, of course, double game. But then still I observed that in last 3-4 years, I was gaining weight and I was growing out of the size of my clothes. So for my height of 5 foot 4 inches or 72 kgs weight was high. BMI was somewhere around 27, 28 as against below 25. So somebody told me to go to some yoga institute and I thought so, but always I felt that I cannot go to a health center or a yoga institute, get myself admitted for 15 days because to be honest, it was not in my gene to spend 15 full days there. So I have been avoiding dilly-dallying and growing on the waist and the weight. So incidentally, I came to Singapore and because of the lockdown, I was baptized in doing yoga and some basic sort of a discipline of life. I was first very, very unhappy that I'm not able to play badminton and I'll put on weight in Singapore, but it happened other way around. I started 1 hour yoga practice in the evening for 1 hour. I started walking in the morning for about 6 kilometers. And then I would say that Calcutta, when I was there, it was a very uncontrolled diet. Coming to Singapore, a little reduction in fat I followed, and the last meal was finished before 7. With these three changes, what I observed was that after 2 weeks, my weight started going down, and I was losing almost at the rate of a pound a week. And next 20 weeks brought a magical change in myself. You can see at center, I'm standing with my wife. And if you see it, there is a pouch you can see, while in the right and left picture, which is in blue and orange, you can see the belly has gone down. I feel quite energetic. And now, to be honest, I'm not doing yoga for all the 7 days a week. I have increased my diet and I possess not 132 sweet tooth, so I at least take 3 sweets a day. But yet, with certain discipline, as I mentioned, I'm now on a constant weight of around 62.5 kg, and by grace of God, keeping good health. Two things which not said, but I'll just also mention a side-by-side advantage that by practicing yoga, my high blood pressure has come down to normal without any medicine. And recently, I had a problem of cervical spondylitis, a very severe problem. But again, by practicing yoga, I have become perfectly all right. So my really thanks to Ruchika, who brought me in for this yoga practices, and all good to narrate. Follow it at your pace, and I'm sure you will benefit. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much. So I'll
It
just
was quite
summarize this
motivating.
before we get somebody else actually. Yeah, Vinita ji, sorry, I did not hear you.
I said it is quite motivating.
It's very motivating. So, if you actually take away what he actually mentioned is that he was very actively playing badminton. So, he was playing 1.5 hours of badminton every day. It was not that he didn't have an active lifestyle. So what was missing in him, which he added on, that, he could see this result of losing weight. He was physically active, but he took care of timely eating, practicing yoga regularly, one thing that he did not mention, he did 30 minutes of pranayama as well for 2 months continuously. So that rectified everything internally. So to the point that, it was not just obesity or the weight that he could lose, but his blood pressure also came into control, such that he's not taking any medication as well. So with the same practices, everything same, you are able to not only lose weight, but you're also able to eliminate other diseases that you might have had. So we'll bring on the next person, Mrs. Preetu Mehra. So that's her before and after picture, but we'll just invite her so that you can start your video and share your journey as well.
Hello, you can hear me?
Yes, Preetuji, we can hear you.
Yeah, I started yoga in the month of April end or May first week. That time my weight was 100 kgs. And then the Ruchika motivated me like anything. Now, the time when I started, my left leg, I was unable to move also. Not even I can fold. But now I can do everything. Now I lost around 7.5 kgs or 8 kgs. My weight was that time was 41. Now it is 38, and still I'm doing the practice every day. And now I'm able to walk every day. Though I'm not cheating myself very much, cheating sometimes while eating, but not very much.
I like this confession.
But in the morning, I do yoga, 5:30 to 6:30. And the evening, as Ruchika told me, to do the walk. I started walking 1 hour. And it's still the journey is going on. Initially, I was feeling, chodo na, nahi karte hain. But thanks to here, not only Ruchika, thanks to Mrs. Goyal also. She motivated me like anything. Initially, when I started with Ruchika, it was due to ma'am's pressure. क्यों मैम ने बोला है इसलिए करना है. But now I really enjoying. And thanks to Ruchika and your yoga, it really helped me a lot. It changed my life like anything.
Thank you very much, Preetuji. So the most important thing is, she's been doing regular practice as well. And once, you start practicing this for 10 days, 15 days, the body starts getting conditioned, you start enjoying, you see the changes in your energy level as well. And then this becomes your daily habit. Like she's practicing every day at 5:30 in the morning. Now that is mastery over the mind, I would say.
Yes.
You don't wake up and you're not lazy, but you're
Yes.
immediately starting to practice. That's what we all need to achieve. So thank you very much, Preetuji. So we'll now invite, thank you so much. So we'll now invite Varsha ji to come on the chat as well. So we have little time, so we'll just quickly rush through 2 more of them. So Varsha ji, if you can just come on the chat.
Yes.
So you're there already. Okay, so yeah, we can see her. So if you can just please share about yourself as well.
Thanks, Ruchika, for giving me the opportunity to share my experience. During lockdown, actually, Ruchika really pushed me to do the yoga regularly. At that time, I was like, I thought nothing can be changed in my health and everything, but by doing regularly doing yoga, there was a tremendous change in my health. I lost 5 kgs in 2 months. And I'm also having a thyroid from last 10 years. But every day I take the medicine without fail. But still, whenever I go to the doctor, they give me the medicines, and every time the TSH level goes on increasing, and they keep on increasing the dosages. But this is the first time when my thyroid level was normal, and my cholesterol was also normal. And I really thanks Ruchika for asking me and making me doing the yoga regularly. Really, yoga brings a lot of change in my mind, body, and soul. Thanks, Ruchika.
Thank you, Varsha ji. Thank you so much for joining. So yeah, again, so not only she has lost weight, but she's been able to eliminate thyroid. Now, a lot of people I've been coming across these days are suffering from thyroid. And they think it's a lifelong thing that they need to be, consuming this medicine because once you get it, you cannot get off it. But that's really not true. during COVID, you know, forcefully, a lot of people have listened to me because they had no other option. But they have seen the benefit. With regular practice, they have been able to not only control their weight, but also eliminate a lot of other diseases. So all are interlinked. So the last person we will invite is Mrs. Malini Goyal. If you can add her on the panel as well, and she can share about her story.
Yes, Ruchika, thank you for inviting me. I am 67 years old, and when I started yoga, my weight was 60 kilos. And I never thought of that I will reduce, because I tried all the ways, all the methods, dieting, trying different kinds of those practices, but nothing has helped. But today, then I started doing yoga with Ruchika. I started during lockdown period. And of course, it was not only yoga, it was also pranayam, it was also asanas. So the yoga was working at all the koshas also. So I think that has also helped me a lot, along with some changes in the food. But food doesn't mean that I started starving or something. I was taking proper food, but a little change in the food from more oily to more, you can say, the green vegetables and the fruits and all. And that has brought a lot of change in me. I not realized it, but all of a sudden, after a week, when I started feeling very light, then I thought, okay, let me see what's happening to me. And when I was on the weighing scale, I found I was already 2 kilos down. And within 3 months, I reduced 7 kilos. And as Vinita ji said that we become little conscious of our weight, very rightly said Vinita, I was very, very conscious of wearing any Western dress, because I felt, you know, my body is not fit for that. And today I love wearing Western dresses. I go for my walks in Western dresses. I visit people in the Western dress, and I feel very comfortable in that. So thanks, Ruchika. And not only that, last year something happened to me. There was some knee problem. And I went for an X-ray, and then I went to a medical practitioner, and he said, Mrs. Goyal, now stop sitting on the floor. Don't think of sitting on the floor for the lifetime. And you should not walk more. Maximum you can walk is 2 kilometers at a stretch. And I don't know what happened. Everything disappeared. Today I sit on the floor for 30 minutes at a stretch. I do my job sitting on the floor, and I walk for 6 kilometers without fail every day in the morning. And there's so much of change in my mind also. I think I've become very, very positive. I'm taking life as it comes to. And all this has happened because of yoga, I think so. And the best part is, all this made me so much positive about yoga that I started training, taking my training courses, the yoga teachers training course from Ruchika, because she is a certified instructor for giving the training courses for yoga. And I learned from her, and today I'm taking chair yoga classes for the people in Singapore and India. Thank you, Ruchika. You have shown me a path towards yoga, and I've started my journey to see the world of yoga. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So, Ruchika ma'am, you have a huge lot of fan followers now, both in India and abroad. So you better start the fan club. Let us all join and let us all reduce.
Absolutely. So I'm running 2 classes over the weekends, which is primarily this, but a lot of people who started during COVID time, so they have already moved on to the practices that you saw. They're all able to do this, you know, including the ones that you've seen on the panel.
Maybe you have to do one beginners and one advanced, so that you are able to do that.
Absolutely. Would love to do that at any time. So I can just summarize very quickly, just the last point, which is that we are physical, mental, and spiritual being, and yoga is taking care of all of this. Whereas physical exercise is just working on your physical body. So not just working on the gym is going to help, because you'll come back with some hunger pangs. You'll think your muscles are tired, they're sore. You need to allow them to relax and recharge as well. So you have to keep the prana in balance. So everything in total is what you need to actually follow. So with that, I think I'll come to the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, I'll be very happy to take the questions. I think people had posted on chat box as well. I've provided my contact details. Somebody had asked for that. Yeah, please feel free to write to me if you have any questions. If I can help, certainly I will try to do so. Anybody has any other questions, then we can take it up. Otherwise, we are already 10 minutes.
That's
we've extended
okay.
the time.
But I was just saying that, you know, if you speak about the diet,
Yes.
how should the diet be and what time do you think should be the diet?
So ideally, Vinita ji, I think this is a very good question that you've brought. The changes that you are actually seeing in a lot of people, try and eat your last meal as early as possible. I would say that, you know, if you can eat your last meal at 6 or 6:30, that's very ideal. Try and keep at least 4 hours. This is something that we all miss. In India, particularly, there is this culture that we have that we eat at 8 o'clock or we eat at 9 and then we fall asleep. Especially in Bengal, I think, you know, I've seen because of, you know, grown up there, you know, we tend to eat very late. We don't understand that this adds on to the fat. So if the food is not getting processed, you think you've had a very nutritious meal, but that's not actually getting processed. It's converting into fat. So if you can take care of that by itself, it'll help in a very big way. So eat what you want to eat, you know, be happy, have as much as you want, but eat at 6 or 6:30 and let that be your last meal. Don't munch on anything else.
That is very difficult for people in India because we have the habit of having, you know, evening snack at 6 o'clock and the dinner not before 9.
Yeah, very true. So, you know, Vinita ji, I have actually, over the past few months, especially, this is a very common thing, especially in Indians, that, you know, at 5:30, we want chai with some snacks. We are very hungry, you know, at that time. What I do, or, you know, what my family is currently doing as well. You know, when you're feeling hungry at 5:30, don't have that chai with a snack. You know, try and have your last, you know, your dinner and eat well, whatever you like. You know, that will make sure that you're not craving anything.
Instead
Please,
of
madam,
the chai, maybe you should have your roti and sabji with chai. It solves your problem, maybe.
Have your chai at 4 o'clock. Try and move your meals a little bit early. So, you know, have your chai at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then 5:36. You know, 6 o'clock, 6:30. If you can have your meal, that'll be good. If with chai you crave something, don't have your biscuit. You know, try and have moody, which is very common in Calcutta or, you know, everywhere in India. You have that. So have the right selection of things when you're eating.
What are the things that we should avoid?
So one of the key things which I would say is oil is definitely avoid that. So consume as little of oil, you know, as possible.
Then how do you cook?
What's that?
How do you cook without oil?
There are lots of ways. So I cook without oil. I do cook with some oil in some particular vegetables. So try and have like cold pressed oils. But again, don't take a lot of it. If you are trying to lose weight, then it defeats your purpose. So I would say, you know, restrict the amount of oil that you're using in your meals, and you can still make it very delicious. Use right herbs, right spices. You know, in India, you have so many different types of spices. From the north, south, east, west, you have all types of different herbs that are grown.
But what is the oil that you prefer? Which brand of oil should we use?
So brand, I wouldn't go for any specific brand. I don't know what's available in India, what you usually do. Have cold pressed oils if you were to consume. You can stick to groundnut oil. You can stick to mustard oil. I think in Bengal we use a lot of mustard oil. It has its own benefits. Coconut oil is also good. You can rotate your oils when you're having them, but try and keep it to as little as possible. The other thing which, you know, rightly said is you can add ghee to your diet. So a lot of people actually think ghee adds on to the fat. You know, that's actually not true. So ghee will actually help to assimilate your food very well. It'll help to process the food very well in your system. So you can actually add ghee to your food. So you can
And
cook
you
some
said
meals in ghee.
no white things in your meals. So do you mean to say maida, atta, chini, milk, and which is the fifth one?
Okay, so I'll tell you. So maida certainly not recommended at all. Try and eliminate it. Wheat, yes, it is okay. But if you're looking to lose weight, you can reduce the quantity of that and you can switch to ragi or some other things. But again, you can go as per Ayurveda. Understand your own constitution, understand your own prakriti, and maybe then it can work for your a particular person as an individual, because we all are different. For white, yes, don't have sugar. If you can eliminate, stick to other. You can use jaggery, gourd, if that works for you. Use brown or the palm sugar instead.
Avoid
Please, madam, I wanted to know about that meditation.
Yes. So yesterday we did the meditation. Actually, I'm not sure if you were there, but we can send you the link. We'll just put it on the group chat now. You can just click on it. But we did like a full session whereby I explained what it is doing. But apart from that, you can just follow it as well. You have any questions, you can write back to us.
Ma'am,
Okay.
is skipping of meal helps in reducing weight?
No, so I wouldn't actually say that skip meals, starve yourself, don't do that. You just fool your mind. If you're fasting for a reason, fasting is great because you're detoxing. But don't fast and start having chai, start having coffee. You know, don't do those kind of things. If the purpose is detox, it's different. Fasting is very, very good.
And how many times a week you recommend the fasting?
So I don't have any recommendation on, how many times. Again, it depends upon you. If it doesn't cause you any health issues, you don't get acidic, if you're able to maintain that, doing fasting is good. I was wanting to play a video on, a concept which is autophagy, which was, a concept by a Japanese scientist. And he had spoken about how when you do fasting, your cells, they eat up the dead cells. And it's very, very good. So even for cancer, that was recommended where fasting is very good. So I have not had a chance to actually play that. So fasting is a very good thing. But if you're doing it to lose weight, I would say first, try and get your meals right, get your timing right, put your effort there, get your exercise right. Try and do some pranayam if you can add that on a daily basis. With relaxation, there are some studies that are there as well. If you do more of relaxation, you're able to lose weight as well.
Do you think
Keep your
music
mind
helps?
right.
Do you think music helps?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So if you feel happy when you're listening to music, it's something which is pleasant, certainly it's very good. Certainly do that.
Ma'am, what can be done for good hair?
Sorry?
What can be done for good hair?
What can be done for?
Good hair.
Good hair. I have been fortunate. So that's like a very genes thing that I have at least. But for your hair, again, if you keep your body in balance, you won't have hair loss. Again, everything is, a lot of it is hormonal driven. A lot of it is stress driven. So if you look at yoga as a holistic approach, by doing everything rightly, you will be able to take care of it as well. Certainly certain asanas which you can do for, supplying blood to the head region, which helps in the growth of hair. Those will be inverted postures which you can do. You can go for some shoulder stand, you can go for Vipreet Karni, you can go for headstand if you're able to do all of that. That helps.
Ma'am, what should be the duration of yoga to be done daily?
See, again, I don't prescribe any particular. Yoga is something that, you can do it for 10 minutes as well. Just be with yourself when you're doing that practice. But, it depends again on your condition. If you're not physically active, you have to incorporate dynamic practices for a little bit longer. So your body starts actually opening up. It starts becoming flexible. It starts, taking off the fat. It starts to tone up. Ideally, you can do it for like an hour.
Ruchika ma'am, do you have any videos for the beginners?
For the beginners, Vinita ji, again on this particular channel, I'll just ask Anand to share it. Maybe you all can subscribe to the channel and you will be able to see, there are lots of videos which I have put in. Preetu ji is also following, every day at 5:30, she's following the videos as well. So certainly you can go there and you can look at the video. So that is the channel which you can see, I think, on your screen right now.
Yeah.
So there are videos which you can follow. It's a 1 hour practice.
Okay.
Yeah. You can go under yoga therapy. So if you go to the playlist, you will go under yoga therapy and you can go for yoga for good health. If you don't have
Yoga
any
for good
conditions, you can, you can follow that. So you can see Anand is actually bringing you there on the screen. So you can just subscribe to this channel and you'll be able to get all the videos. Yeah,
I have subscribed. So rest of you can subscribe and see whether you all can do that, and probably you can write to her there also on the chat box, and she could respond back to you.
Sure.
I would like to thank both Ruchika and Anand for giving us this high in the weekend. I think I am quite charged up. Ruchika, now you have a new entrant coming to take over your time. Though I'm a senior citizen, there are many like me in the group. They would also like to join in, and maybe the youngsters also.
Sure.
And you know, there are times in life where you need to start thinking what is the new thing that you can achieve, just like Malini has done. So Malini has been kind of a motivator for many, and she is a great spokesperson. So when she has reduced about 7 kgs, it makes it more important that many of us follow her in her footstep. And I would suggest you start a workshop for all the Indian admirers that you have, so that we start with things that are little easy for us, and you know, continue to do the good thing that you are trying to spread. And with this, I would like to thank all of the participants who have joined us today, and at a short interval. I have sent you the feedback form. Please let us know what you would want so that we can take this forward. Now, Ruchika was first launched by me. Now, today, even Malini was launched by me. Today, I have launched her husband and her father-in-law too. So the full family is on the trip. Now, we would like to take the entire family through and to train all of us, so that we are all able to enjoy the goodness. The main intention of this is that we are able to be more healthier, both physically and mentally. This is the intention.
Vinita ji, so just to interrupt over there, so Malini she started a channel as well, which is called Learning Journey Cookery. So they have a lot of those, they have lots of videos on how do you make quick sweets, you know, with the dates. Some healthy recipes are there as well. So you can subscribe to that channel as well, and you can get some tips. She will be putting in more videos, which will be beneficial for people to follow.
Maybe there you should start something which, you know, people could use as morning breakfast or dopahr ka lunch, raat ka khana, and there you say what time that should be people should be having. I think that would motivate people even more, and both these channels could, you know, go simultaneously for people who would love to have a healthy body and a healthy mind and live happily and peacefully. I think that is what pandemic is teaching us. We have to start realizing that, you know, we have been given a body with a mind which needs to be happy and which needs to be tension free. I think today even our children are getting tensed. They are not able to relax. We need to relax. We need to take life as it comes in its right perspective.
Very true.
So with these words, we close for today, and we shall keep you posted about the next programs, maybe next month. And till then, see you, be happy, keep practicing.
Thank you very much, Vinita ji. Thank you everyone for joining the session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.